There's no school today, so I expected to be able to sleep in late. Unfortunately, I'm awakened by someone mercilessly pounding on my door at 8 in the morning. At first, I think it could be Kenji, but when my shouts of annoyance go out unanswered, I realize it's Shizune. She immediately backs away from the door when I open it, quickly concealing something behind her back. Kind of ominous. What's that? Is it a surprise? I don't really like surprises. Displeased expression on her face says that she wants me to stop being such a wet blanket, but she's too busy fumbling with what's behind her back to sign it. It must be frustrating for her because seconds later she swings the object out, proudly and also a little dangerously. Ta-da! Picnic basket. We can have lunch together, the three of us. It's not really a basket, it looks more like a plastic bag. Taking a quick look inside, I can see that most of the food is also store-bought, not homemade. Some of the items still have price stickers on. There's a very diverse selection here. Even a tiny tin of caviar. I'm slowly becoming more impressed with this lunch. I pick a grape out of there and pop it in my mouth. Don't just take things like that. I spent all night perfecting this final weapon. Shizune places it down on the ground to free up her hand and immediately starts playfully tapping it with her feet like a soccer ball. Definitely not what you would do to anything you're going to call a final weapon. All part of my get Misha to stop being so depressed plan. I stayed up all night working on it. We tried to order in last time, Misha barely got anything, and used it as an excuse to leave early. I won't let her get off so easily this time. Food is already here. She'll have to sit down and eat with us. It's the perfect bait. Doesn't everything look irresistible? I tried to make it myself, but I don't know how to make it look all fancy, so I ended up buying everything. It still looks delicious, doesn't it? It should be. She's very perky today, juiced up on the thought of cheering Misha up. Although it's odd to see her so happy about it, I know that she's just as unsure now as she was yesterday. The only thing that has changed is that by viewing it as another sort of challenge for herself, she can put her worries aside and throw herself into it recklessly. It has worked well enough for Shizune so far. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the only way she knows how to live. It's a little early, though. It's already 8 in the morning. That's late. Even Misha gets up at 8 or 9. She goes to bed at 7, but that isn't important. It's very important. Shizune ignores me, gagging my hands by taking them in hers instead of a more proper rebuttal. The way she lingers against me a moment longer, expected, feels really comforting. The point is, she's awake right now, walking around somewhere. Let's go find her. She sprints out the door impatiently, and her gusto as she drags me along looking for Misha makes me feel like I'm following a hunter on a safari than looking for a mutual friend. We don't have to look very hard. Even cropped short, her pink hair stands out. The fact that she's just meandering around the grounds in the open makes it easier. Now I'm sounding like a safari hunter. I'm getting tired. Misha! Huh? We were just looking for you. It's a good day for a picnic. You should do it. You should join us. We even have caviar. Not sturgeon, of course, but really tasty. Caviar? Sturgeon? Apparently finding it annoying to have to explain anything at length with only one hand, Shizune gives up quickly. Fish eggs. What? It tastes good. Sorry, Shi-chan. I think I'll pass for today. When Misha starts to walk away, Shizune holds the bag out toward me, needing me to take it so that her hands can be free. As soon as it's out of her hand, she darts in front of Misha, cutting her off. I made so much food, though. Sorry, I'm just not hungry right now. When are you going to be hungry, then? Shi-chan, that's impossible to know. You can guess. The tension between them infuriates Shizune, and she's trying to deal with it by trying to tear through it. But that approach isn't going to work. I thought and hoped that Misha had gotten herself together, but I guess she was just cut too deep by what happened. In that case, it's really out of anyone's hands. I believe that Shizune might understand that on some level. If she didn't, she wouldn't have any debts at all. Because she can't speak, though, I've learned to notice her hesitation. It's very clear. She might as well be screaming. Misha waves her hands in front of her, not wanting to continue the discussion any further, and quickly slips away. Shizune fumes silently, reluctant to let her go, but having no way to keep her here. As Misha's back grows smaller in the distance, I wonder where she's heading off to. Is Shizune wondering the same thing as she bites her lip in frustration? I want to touch her reassuringly on the shoulder, but I stop myself, not knowing if it's the right thing to do. Not because she looks fragile, vulnerable, or sad. It's the opposite. After a while, her expression belies no emotion at all, only contemplation. Suddenly, she whirls around. Now all this food is going to go to waste. Yeah. That makes me mad. Although it's obvious Shizune is more hurt than mad. The bag dangling from my hand feels like it's filled with lead. Let's go on a date. Let's use it then. Where do you want to go? I don't know. The roof. It's my favorite spot. A wry smile appears on her face, disappearing just as quickly. On the roof, I immediately crack open the caviar, ignoring the derisive look from Shizune all the while. I end up putting it down immediately. Where are the toast points? I didn't make any. Like I told you, I bought everything. Not toast points, though. Why is that important? Anyway, they don't sell just toast points. That would be stupid. I bet they do. Maybe in stores for the exceptionally lazy, but not here. Why don't you use a tortilla chip? A tortilla chip is not the same. They're both triangles. Stop being a princess. I didn't know there was a proper way to eat caviar. It's the first I'm hearing of it. It's not the same thing at all. I can't be decadent like this. And anyway, how can she not know? She lives in a huge mansion. Shizune takes the opportunity to scoop half the tin onto a single chip in the meantime. Hey! I'm sure it doesn't even taste good like that. There's too much food here for two people. Because we can't communicate with each other while we eat, Shizune and I have a lot of time to sit in silence and think about the fact that Misha, the person she set all this up for, isn't here. It's annoying that she isn't here. I can't even enjoy my meal like this. I stare at the paper cup next to her, still half full of juice. I thought she didn't want all this food to go to waste. I wanted Misha to be here too. That was the whole point. I wasn't able to accomplish what I wanted to, so it doesn't taste good. You should eat it. Eat more. I want the fried things, though. You keep eating them all, even though you say they don't taste good. Fried things are always delicious. There's always an exception for them. You'll get fat. I think you're being too aggressive. It's like I told you yesterday. I'm only trying to cheer her up. Yeah, but it seems like you're planning a military campaign. I'm only trying to take it seriously. And this is the only way I know how to do it seriously. I feel so powerless. I hate it. I can't even yell at her, too. Even though I want to. Yelling's for serious occasions, right? Yeah. You should yell at Misha for me. You can tell her that I want her to stop being so down. Even if she feels sad and alone, that's no reason to stay gloomy forever. Why don't you? I already did. Over a game of dice. Under over, to be exact. I won! 5 times! Only the two of them would take so much pride in winning games of pure chance. Then I tried to talk to her, but it didn't go so well, obviously. Well, so did I. I tried and failed. My goal has always been to do everything better, though. Yeah, your one-upmanship is really something. But I failed, too. That's why I want your help. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do anymore. For someone like Shizune, who's only ever interacted with the world by locking horns with every obstacle in her path, understanding only goes so far. I want to tell her that she doesn't have to worry, that she's great at cheering people up, because she managed to cheer me up my first week here. In retrospect, I must have looked like kind of a dick, being in such a sour mood from the moment I came here, even though I don't think I was being unreasonable. Even having months to digest it, finding out that you have a heart defect like I did, is hard to deal with. I had much less time to mull over suddenly being transferred to Yamaku on top of that. Spending the festival with Shizune really helped me out of a rut. I was happy enough to forget the entire time it felt as though she were manipulating me. I understand now that I had allowed myself to be manipulated. Even though I felt like I was at the bottom of the world, I still wanted to have a normal life again. I'm sure because I enjoy what I have now. It must be the same for everyone, including Misha. Everyone wants someone there to pull them up out of their self-pity. You said that Misha always wanted Shizune to be that person. Because they can't be together, I think Misha feels that she can't accept Shizune's hand. And that frustrates Shizune. But she could cheer up a stranger like me. If she could cheer up a stranger like me, then she'll die trying with Misha. I can see it in her eyes too. Though she tries to treat it like any other problem in her life, Shizune cannot do that with Misha's depression. Her thought processes are entirely different, in some ways more careful, in some ways more reckless and frenetic. She cares that much more. I end up not saying anything, partly because sitting next to her like this, just the two of us, is pleasant enough in itself that I don't want to interrupt the moment with a question. And partly for a more cowardly reason. I started to think they weren't, but I don't know if her actions that day might not have been an afterthought or even a fluke, just a collection of coincidences. I don't know if that would change anything, but I'm uncomfortable thinking about it. The fence behind me trembles slightly, and I turn to see that it's because Shizune has fallen asleep against it. Considering she was up all night, it's not surprising. Where does all that motivation come from? Not just in regards to Misha. I'm cynical, so it's hard for me to accept that anyone could simply be that strong. My first thought is maybe that she hates herself. It's very plausible. Leaning against her, I feel sad knowing that that might be the case. But it could be that we're similar and that we both want to be better people. Does that not give you the extra line then? I could have sworn it did. Damn. Could have sworn it did. Whatever. It seems like I ate too much yesterday because I wake up in the morning feeling just nauseous enough for it to be a problem. I really can't postpone going into town for shopping though, so despite wanting to roll over and sleep it away, I force myself to get up and dress instead. Somewhere between buying toothpaste and a few other groceries, I end up walking off. Then I feel hungry. After stopping for breakfast, it hits me how much time has gone by. Hadn't expected to be out this long. At all. I'm not even sure if I bothered to lock my door. I should really get back. When I get back to the dorm, I see Hideki standing in front of my room from the entrance. I can think of a few things more unexpected, and I can't help thinking I might have a heart attack just from the surprise. Fortunately, it doesn't happen. As soon as he sees me, he says hello in his usual detached way. I'm a little slow to reply to him, so he repeats the greeting without missing a beat. Hello. Is something wrong? I'm just surprised to see you here. Not as surprised as I could have been, since it's impossible to mistake him for anyone else. I'd recognize those weird clothes anywhere. Come to think of it, I've really surrounded myself with distinctive-looking people lately. Hideki's head lolls to one side a little too easily. Why? Is it unusual to see someone's family come to see them? Well, yeah, actually. So, Hideki isn't such a robot after all. In fact, it's almost as if he's caught more off guard by the fact that he can even be caught off guard, but he recovers quickly. Nevertheless, in that brief moment, he looks his age. An uncomfortable side of his seems like the more honest, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. Not so much, though, that I'd go out of my way to pry. Only Shizune would be that zealous. That my thoughts get so far is proof she's rubbing off on me. I'd think you have a reason, that's all. There is one. See? Anyway, we can talk while we're looking for her. That's why you're here, right? Shizune is in the student council room. I was looking for you. We might take a trip soon, a family trip. You think she would want to come with us? Yeah, I don't know. She's been kind of on the warpath lately, with a lot of stuff. And when she's focused on something, she just won't drop it. I guess you would know that. Hideki looks much more at ease walking around than I did my first week. So this isn't your first time here? Just throwing it out there. Of course, completely ignoring the surrounding environment could just run in the family. It explained why Hideki seems so distant from Shizune. I get the feeling there's more to it than just her deafness. No, but this is the first time I can walk around so much. It's kind of weird here. I bumped into a person who told me women are not allowed in the dorms. After I told him I am not a woman, he told me I was misleading and then accused me of being an assassin. I was warned that he was not only invincible, but strong enough to probably destroy the building with a punch, or at least knock over the painting hanging in the hallway. By the way, that painting is actually screwed to the wall. Yeah, that's the guy across the hall from me. He's okay. I see. Oh, you left your door open. It was unlocked when I came here. I'm a little annoyed that Hideki knows that. The only way he could is if he had opened my door, but the feeling passes. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to hide or steal. Your soccer ball is really nice. That's one of the things that doesn't matter. If you're a soccer player, a soccer ball is very important. I guess it is. The thought makes me smile. I'm here because my father bought a new phone, and he wanted to update Shizune in case she needs to call him. I thought that you should know too, since you're boyfriend, aren't you? Yeah? Why? Just in case there's something wrong, or she needs anything. It isn't what I meant, but I'll go along. Even if she did, she probably wouldn't call. That is how she is. Well, if you know, come all the way here for that though? You could have updated her via email. He does not like using emails. That's so old-fashioned. Don't tell me he still does business through regular mail or something. Silence. Now it's my turn to feel awkward. Is Hideki taking it literally, or did I hit the mark? Nah, I'm sure that what it really comes down to is he doesn't want to see his daughter and stay in contact with her. In the end, they're still family after all, even though they play at being each other's throats. Maybe my speech will be clear now. Probably not. The door to the student council room is open, and Hideki and I walk in on Jigoro in mid-rant. He sees us, but decides that it's not something worth stopping rambling and Shizune over. This is really shaking my faith in my previous assumption. When I was in the student council, our room was smaller, colder too, like working out of a meat locker. Not like you spoiled kids, what a waste. Sitting in your giant room doing nothing. Aren't there only 3 of you? That makes having so many desks only seem like an unnecessary display of mindless decadence. Appalling. You must use the desk you need, not one more. It's part of my code. Maybe it ought me to think so, but hearing only one half of a conversation is pretty strange. Also, that's some code. Now that I've arrived, he changes the subject and starts talking about the reason he's here. Hideki and I are going on a trip. What are you doing? Does everyone who uses sign language mumble while they do it? No, but I'm just an amateur. It helps me think. It's kind of a force of habit. Just an amateur. Unbelievable. Fine. He turns back to Shizune just in time to catch her shaking her head from side to side. You sure you won't be coming along? She reiterates the gesture. Fine. Can you tell her to call me if she needs anything? Yes. I really think sending an email would have been easier, though. I'm not going to read emails on my phone. If she won't speak, she can call Hideki. Suppose if I have to be reached, she would have to call me, or that other girl would have to call me. Actually, all 3 of you can just call Hideki. Okay? Jigoro, you're an idiot. If she won't speak, she can call Hideki. I see a problem with your logic there. Which, I don't know, seems like a gigantic surprise. A flaw in his logic? What you talking about? She's deaf and mute. Why would she want to call you? Then again, even if she wasn't deaf and mute, why would she want to call you? I don't know. And with that, he swiftly turns and leaves, Hideki trailing behind him. A long trip for something that took 5 minutes. Neither of them can express their feelings very well. In Shizune's case, I have to question whether she would if she could. It explains a lot, but she doesn't seem unhappy with the arrangement. Even so, I wonder if she might be. When the door closes behind them, leaving Shizune and I by ourselves, she lets out a deep breath that seems to echo in the silence of the room. It's totally ridiculous asking me to go on the trip. Timing couldn't be worse. It overlaps the student council elections, for one. Second, I haven't even cheered up Misha. If you consider that, it's annoying to even have anything else to think about. This is another thing. He was yelling at his daughter about the trip. Okay. His daughter is deaf. Why was he yelling at her about a trip? She cannot hear him. Which just supports my theory. Jigoro is retarded. He must be. Or just incredibly stupid. I'm gonna go with the incredibly stupid. Yeah, but you might be too focused on all that stuff right now. Shizune adjusts her glasses roughly. Completely 100% right. The minute I decided I was going to cheer up Misha, everything else went on the back burner, I suppose. I think your dad might care about you more than he lets on. I know. So then it could be a good idea. No. Then again, more firmly, as if for both of us. No. After coming this far, I can't take a break. A vacation would be jarring. It would be like waking up in a different life. Yesterday was like my vacation, so now we have to go all in. I'm sorry, but it's just who I am. Or just how I am. I remember what Yuko said, that she found Shizune brave in a kind of way. I think I understand what she meant, and I have to agree. Even though it could also be called recklessness and foolishness and pointless stubbornness, I guess you could call it bravery too. However, I can see that there's a fundamental flaw in Shizune's thinking that I hadn't noticed until now. I'm sure that Shizune has reflected longer and more arduously than I could about where she messed up to create such a bad situation between her and Misha. However, as typical for her, she wouldn't let it hold her back and immediately set out to fix the problem. This completely ignores a large part of the problem, Misha herself. Moving from critical introspection to holding Misha up as a part of the goal causes the person to get lost in the shuffle. Shizune has said a lot in the past few days, but nothing about how Misha feels. Shizune's way of thinking is abnormal. Few normal people would reject a friend and then expect things to go back the way that were so easily. Shizune does because she sees life as, if I had to put it simply, capable of being segmented and compartmentalized. Compartmentalized? Close enough. Misha, like anyone else, sees it as a whole experience, a long, continuous journey where one moment of heartache can follow you forever. For Shizune, an event is an event, and few of them cross over. Life is compartmentalized around triumphs, failures, and decisions, where each one stands its own story. It's why the thought of a vacation is jarring to her. It's why she can only appreciate people's immediate emotions. It's exactly how someone obsessed with living in the moment would think, really. Likewise, Shizune can see Misha as a friend, but I doubt that she's ever thought of Misha as anything more until recently, or questioned anything about her. Misha is Misha would be enough for her, even if, to Misha, it must be unbelievably stifling. Shizune is just Shizune to herself. It's likely she doesn't even think about the after effects of her actions in the long term, as long as they stir up other people's lives. To Misha, though, I'm sure it would make her seem almost heroic, like Yuko admiring her bravery, and even myself. And Shizune's thoughts on that sentiment are that it was good that she could touch someone's life, but it ends there. It's easy to captivate, much harder to nurture. On to the next thing. Thinking of life in terms of almost completely isolated events has the tendency to isolate a person too. Though she's trying to remedy it now, the point remains. There's simply no way Shizune could have avoided hurting Misha. Her emotional investment in Shizune was something Shizune couldn't account for, so she didn't. Combined with her personality, it was inevitable. Both of them have pretty much told me all of that in bits and pieces over the past couple of months that I've known them. In the middle of considering their differences, an idea begins to take shape in my mind. Are you working on your plan right now? This second? Your cheer up Misha plan. Of course, I was thinking about it the whole time I was being yelled at. Flicking her glasses up the bridge of her nose with an oddly triumphant air, she taps her finger against her temple. It's multitasking. Really? Isn't it more like you being able to concentrate on something like that because you can't hear? Well, whatever. When I ask her what she thinks of mine, it turns out we both arrived at a similar idea. And I believe I'll cut it off, like, right here. Yeah, I'll cut it off here. Next time on Let's Play Katawa Shoujo, we will see if we can cheer up Misha and move toward our good ending. And find out how close we can get in the half hour or hour that I do per recording. So, till then, take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. And keep on signing.